a day from retiring disgracefully. Well, as you can see, I'll give you a quick look around. Still got rain. Very frustrating because it's supposed to be the end of the wet season now. Wet season should have gone a couple of weeks ago, but it seems to be just the start. We didn't get a wet season, and now it seems to be raining every day now. Heavy rain's gone, it's only this drizzle, but it's raining all the time, 24 hours. It rained more or less all last night, and it's still raining this morning. So not good for doing a video. I was hoping to do the second part of my 10 places to retire in Thailand. I was hoping to do it from the beach today, or find a little coffee shop with a nice view and sat there doing it, but no. So I'm still at home, and I'll do it from here. First of all, I want to show you this. I've just got my vaccine passport. It took a while to get it. It took a couple of weeks, but there I am, fully vaccinated now against COVID. So I can now travel through Thailand or anywhere I want. I can go anywhere I want now, as long as I have this vaccination. I can go back to Australia, go to the UK, but at the moment I'm going to stay in Thailand, and I'm hopefully mid-January do this big trip around Thailand. Yesterday I did the 4 places down south that I think are the best places to live in Thailand, in that area of Thailand. But as I said yesterday, there's many more places. I mean, I'd picked 4 of my favourites, but you really need to do your own homework and go and see lots of other towns. I did. I went to lots of other towns before I picked them as my 4 best. And each and every one of us are different, so what's a good town for me might not be a good town for you. So today I'm going to start on northern Thailand. Bangkok and Pattaya are not northern Thailand, but it's north of Koh Samui, so that's what I mean. Other towns like Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai are in the deep north, but I would say Bangkok and Pattaya are more central areas. So today I'll start with Bangkok. Bangkok, fantastic city. It's the capital and largest city in Thailand, and it's where the royal palace is. The King of Thailand has his palace there, but there again he has 11 other palaces around Thailand, which he can afford because he's the richest monarch in the world, is the King of Thailand. Bangkok is also the home of the Thai Parliament. That's where the government sits to makes all its rules about immigration. If you love big cities, well, maybe Bangkok's the place for you. For me, I don't like big cities, but I love to visit Bangkok. I love going there for a weekend or a midweek break. And when I fly in from anywhere else, I always spend a couple of nights there because there's so much to do. I love it. I love Bangkok, but I just don't like big cities. Being a big city, it's got everything you could want. Big shopping centres, nightclubs, golf courses, great transportation system, fantastic trains, and the transport throughout Bangkok is wonderful. It's as good as you'll find anywhere in the world. As obviously being a big city, it's got many hospitals and clinics. If you have a medical problem, you have a big choice in Bangkok. And it's also the home of just about every embassy, foreign embassy in the world. So if you've got any problems with your passport or with anything else that you need some help from your country with, it's on hand in Bangkok. It's also the home to many bars, restaurants. There's every type of cuisine you could think of you'll find in Bangkok, and many of them. You know, if you're English, you'll find roast beef and Yorkshire puddings in one restaurant. If you're USA, you'll find a nice burger. If you're Mexican, you can get your tacos. There's everything. There's every type of restaurant you could ever think of. and many bars as well. The same thing. There's plenty of bars with English bars, German bars, French bars, all the bars that, you know, if you want to go and have a drink and sit with your compatriots from France, you'll find a French bar somewhere in Bangkok. If I want to go and sit with an English people and sit and talk about football, if I want to talk with Australians about rugby or cricket, then I can find an Aussie or an English bar. There's also many lady bars. Thailand, in all tourist towns, will have lady bars, and the main ones in Bangkok are on Khao San Road and Soi Cowboy. So really, you'll never be bored in Bangkok. It's one of them metropolitan cities like New York, London, which, you know, it's got everything you want. And lots of touristy things as well, you know, the palace and many temples and, you know, just Google Bangkok, what to do, and you'll find the list just goes on and on. The bad things for me about Bangkok is, well, I suppose because I don't like cities, I'm biased, I suppose, but what's bad for me might not be bad for you. But it's pollution, very bad, because of the amount of cars, traffic, motorbikes on the roads. There's a very bad pollution problem, and if you have breathing problems, heart problems, it's probably not the place for you. The smog or the whatever you call it from the traffic hovers over the city, and it's probably on a rainy day like this, it's okay, it washes it away, but hot sunny days, there's a haze that hovers over Bangkok, which is not, for me, I don't like. It's also, being a capital city, it's overcrowded. You know, if you want space, you can find it. You can find a park, and but if you don't like noise and lots of people around you, you'll be a bit claustrophobic. Well, probably Bangkok's not good for you. Also, the third downside, and I'm not knocking Bangkok. It's how big cities are, I suppose. You know, every city in the world is going to have the same problems as Bangkok. Bangkok's not any different. But the third thing is would be it's a little bit more expensive. You can pay, you know, in high-end bars, you can pay what you'd pay in New York for a beer, or London. You know, it can be expensive. It also can be cheap. You know, you can go and find markets and cheaper bars where you can more or less pay the same as what I pay here in Koh Samui. But on the whole, it's more expensive. So if you live in Bangkok, it's going to cost you more. Rent will be more. Your cost of food and transport, everything is more expensive than what you'd find in, say, somewhere like Hua Hin or Krabi, Chiang Mai. So yes, Bangkok is fantastic, a great metropolitan city, is up there with the best in the world, but there's the downsides as well. So if you're thinking of living there, take a little bit of time to check it all out. You know, make sure it's maybe spend a month there and have a look around and make sure that it's good for you before you actually think, this is where I'm going to live. So next on my list of the best places to live in Thailand would be Pattaya. Pattaya, not that far from Bangkok, it's only a couple of hours drive to the east. Pattaya's always been known as a party town, though it's from what I've been reading, it's trying to change its image. They're trying, while this pandemic's on, I think when they reopen, the government would like to try to tone it down a little bit, so they're putting some effort into trying to make it a more family-friendly resort. I don't think that will happen. I think it's too ingrained in Pattaya, the image that it has, and too many people go there because of that. Pattaya was just a small fishing village until the early 1960s, when the town was used by the US military for their servicemen to go on R&R from the war in Vietnam, because Pattaya was fairly close, just over the border from Cambodia, and easy to get to for the servicemen. They'd fly them in from somewhere in Vietnam or Cambodia for their R&R. Since then, it's grown in size, and it's now known the world over as Sin City. That's the reputation it has. That's why the servicemen flew in on for R&R, because there was lots of ladies from Thailand who would go and live there and work there to service the military, and that stuck. When the war was over, then they started to make Pattaya a town where people could go if they wanted to find a lady. COVID has done, I suppose, what the government couldn't do to the city. It's closed most of its bars and nightclubs. Well, at least for now. Most Pattaya is a shadow of its former self now because of COVID. It relied on single men going there to find women. That's the main claim to fame of Pattaya. But Pattaya is not all about sex and drugs and rock and roll. Outside of the bustling city, there are many places where expats and retirees live without the noise or debauchery that Pattaya is famous for. There's places like Rayong, Bangsaray, Sriracha, and many nice places which are not famous for what Pattaya is famous for, and they're in short distance from the city. When I go to Pattaya, I don't stay in Pattaya. I stay somewhere like Bangsaray. I like Bangsaray, so that's where I stay. It's only about a half-hour drive from the middle of the city, and if I want to just go out sometimes, that's what I'll do. But Bangsaray has some nice bars and restaurants, so you don't have to go into the city if you don't want to. Pattaya has got many big shopping malls, lots of golf courses. It's geared up for retirees, and it's geared up for expats and Farang in general. The downside of living in Pattaya as a single man is that when you tell people where you live, most people think that you're an old perv if you say, "Oh, I live in Pattaya." This may or may not be true. In my case, if I lived there, which I wouldn't, as I say, I like the town but not to live. If I lived there, it wouldn't be true, because I'm not a perv, and I'm not just here for the ladies. I'm here because I love Thailand, and that doesn't say I don't go to lady bars. I do, but that's not why I'm here. Which for a lot of people, they do. Mainly tourists. They come here for a week and 2 weeks and stay in Pattaya just so that they can find beautiful ladies, which they probably couldn't find in their own country. Maybe because they're old like me, or maybe because they're not handsome, but they can come here and they can find a beautiful lady, pay for a week, a day, a night, whatever. But that's what Pattaya is famous for. The upside is you're only a couple of hours away from Bangkok, and Pattaya is a very nice place. You're surrounded by beautiful beaches. There's a tropical island about 4 hours away, Konkan, which is well worth a visit. Being in Pattaya, you're quite central. You're sort of central Thailand. So to go from Pattaya to go down south to Phuket, it's going to take you a while, but not as bad as if you're in Chiang Mai. Also, there's a new ferry that's just started up that goes from Pattaya down to southern Thailand. I think it goes down as far as somewhere like Hat Yai, somewhere around that area. I'll check it out for you and I'll put it in the description. I should have checked it out before, but I didn't. But I'll put that in. But there's a new ferry service opened just last week, which cuts off that big trip around driving. You can just cut across. There used to be a ferry that went from Hua Hin across to Pattaya. But that, since COVID, that's stopped. Whether it'll start again when COVID goes, I don't know. Maybe they've run out of money. You can't just have a ship sitting there for two years not being used, and you know, there's a lot of maintenance. I don't know what's going to happen there, but I hope it does. The only problem was it was expensive. Ticket just it's not a car ferry, it's just for people. A one-way ticket was around about 1100 baht. Whereas I could take my car across to Koh Samui on that ferry for 700 baht. So, you know, it was quite expensive, and a few times I used it, there wasn't many people on it. I think most people thought it was cheaper or easier to drive around because you could do it for a lot less money. So don't let Pattaya's reputation of a sin city put you off. Yes, it's a sex city, but it's not compulsory. There's plenty of people live there who don't even see that side of the place. It's they just go about their normal lives and enjoy what Pattaya has to offer. Come and take a look. If it's not for you, well, you still have a good time while you're there. So now we'll head north to Khon Kaen. Khon Kaen is one of my favourite rural cities in Thailand. My ex-girlfriend actually came from a small fishing village near Khon Kaen, so we used to visit it quite often when we went to visit a family. But we'd always stay in Khon Kaen. So we visited there many times. Doesn't have a big expat community, Khon Kaen. But many expats have met girlfriends in other parts of Thailand and decided to move to Khon Kaen. I suppose because it's a more sedate way of life. I think a lot of expats come here and when they decide to live here, either retire or just live here, they get a little bit fed up of the tourist side of Thailand. And a lot of them move to areas like Khon Kaen. Being a large city, there are many shopping malls, markets, and night markets. The city also caters for expats with some European and Western restaurants. Not a great deal, but there are a selection. And in the shopping centres, the large shopping malls, you'll find some restaurants that cater for Farang. For any golf enthusiasts, they have 5 golf courses in the proximity to Khon Kaen. And yeah, if you're into the bar scene or lady bars, you'll find them around the Pullman Hotel or Kosa Hotel areas in Khon Kaen. I love coming to Khon Kaen, and I don't see any downsides to living there, unless, like me, you're a beach person, as the nearest beach from Khon Kaen is about a 7.5 hour drive away at Chonburi in the Pattaya area. So that wraps up part 2 of the 10 best places for expats or retirees to live in Thailand, at least in my opinion. There's a lot of beautiful places in Thailand, which I'm sure that there's people will write and tell me that, oh, you never said this one or you never said that one. But I can't say them all. I can only say the ones that are my favourites. But if you do send any, I will pass it on. I will put it in. I'll put a link and put it in comments if anyone thinks there's a good area that I've missed. Look out for my next video on the last 3 of the 10 towns that I consider great places for expats and retirees. That'll be Udon Thani, Chiang Mai and Chiang Rai. If you haven't already done so, please push the subscribe button. It's free and you will be informed each time that I release a new video, so you won't miss out. Also, push the thumbs up button and forward the link if you know any friends or family that you may think will enjoy my YouTube channel on Thailand. If you're thinking of retiring or living in Thailand, please take a look at my book, The Retire in Thailand Handbook, the first 6 months. It's crammed full of information to help you tiptoe over the logistics of making Thailand your home as seamless as possible. So until next time, please take care during these horrible COVID days. It'll go away soon. It's got to. I think there's light at the end of the tunnel. And until then, I will see you in the next video. Cheers for now. Thanks for watching.